Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Star Trek New Horizons Into the Mirror Darkly with me, Jamie. So if you remember from the last episode, we met the Tellarites. We met the Tellarites over here. We met the Andorians. We also met the Genobulans and the Orions. And we've also noticed that the Vulcans, Andorians, and Tellarites are not actually rivaling each other. So with any luck, we will be able to create a coalition with all of the founders of the United Federation of Planets.
If we back down now, everything we fought for is meaningless.
So the Andorians have been given association status, which is great. The next step will be inviting them to the coalition. And then, as soon as I get over to the Tellarites,
admit the truth!
We will also invite them into the coalition, invite them and give them association status as well. So, fingers crossed that will happen this episode and very, very soon.
Priority 1 message incoming.
So, Ajoran,
I doubt that war can be avoided this time.
I might as well eat my hat, because just as I said we were going to add them in, the Andorians want to be added. So, great. Let's agree to that. And I'm sure that the Vulcans will agree. And
automatic defense procedures initiated.
Well, good news, we've been added in. That's great. But also, alien probe alert. Sol monitoring stations have detected an alien probe on a direct course for Earth. All attempts to hail the probe have been met with silence, and as such we must now presume the vessel is hostile. So I'm going to take my fleet, which is here, and go meet this hostile force, which is a Xindi probe class. So who are these Xindi? Let's find out. So we're going to begin the Expanse event chain.
Mission log updated.
And the Vulcans have also entered into a migration treaty with the Andorians. That's good. So they like each other. That's always a positive. So I'm also going to have them upgrade after they fight the probe. That way we can kind of have the strongest ships possible.
Hostile fleet engaged.
So if you remember from last episode, our science ship was in Genobulan space, and they closed their default status was closed borders. So our ship is here. So what I'm going to do is tell it to survey the system, and I'm going to set the fleet stance for the moment to passive, so that way it won't react to the Xindi probe at the moment. Once it gets out of the system, I'll set it back to evasive. But at the moment,
research complete.
So it's moving. Let's see how this is doing. Oh, not too badly actually. It started up there. Earth is here. So hopefully we will be able to destroy the probe before it reaches Earth, so we won't even lose any kind of population, which would be amazing. So we have finished research on the cruisers. Oh, that's perfect. So now we can even upgrade these ships to the Neptune refit of the Emmet class, and we get access to these Intrepid class light cruisers. So new research, and we can either unlock polarized hull plating, we can increase our torpedo damage by 5% and allow us to exploit chemocyte, or we can get a main engineering console. Let's do the polarized hull plating, again just for our military ships for defensive purposes. And if you notice, we also have a tradition that's now available. So I'm going to continue along the discovery path and increase the anomaly discovery chance by 15%, or increase specialist output. So this is, for example, when you go to Earth and look at your population and see specialists here, this would increase the amount of minerals, for example, that's created by 5%. Well, I think I'm going to go for the anomaly discovery chance at the moment, or for the moment, because we are in the exploration phase of the game, really. Let's see how well our fleet does against this probe. So our starbase is now firing, so it's getting close to Earth. But I think we're going to make it, and yes, we made it. So we have successfully prevented the alien probe from entering Earth orbit. Preliminary scans of the wreckage indicate the probe carried within it a single-use condensed energy weapon. which had it fired would have been capable of destroying large regions of the Earth's surface. Prime Minister Nathan Samuels' administration has planned a series of celebrations to honor the men and women of Starfleet who averted this tragedy. The question now remains, who sent this weapon of mass destruction? So that's excellent. So now we need a science ship in order to analyze this debris. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to wait for one of these two ships to finish, because we do have 2,000 days, so it will take a while. Although I could just say, you know what, let's research this now and then go directly for these, to survey these systems as well.
Construction complete. Fleet upgraded.
So my fleet has been upgraded, but it needs to upgrade again because I did that upgrade before the refit that is going to happen. So I'm going to press the upgrade again, and then we have the Habitable World Survey. So this is the same event as in the base game. So we know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Earth. Both the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalogue the life forms we encounter are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged us to focus our planetary survey efforts on habitable, life-bearing worlds. So it's a commendable initiative, meaning we would start this chain, or we could say we have more important matters to focus on. I'm going to start the chain because that gives us more rewards at the very end.
Mission log updated. Construction complete.
So
Construction complete.
So we're surveying.
Construction complete. Construction complete. Construction complete.
So Andorian Empire and the Vulcan High Command
Research project
love each
complete.
other, so that's always great. And we're in the next stage of the expanse chain. So, engineering teams have successfully analyzed the wreckage of the alien probe. Certain quantum markers in the hull material indicate an exposure to a class of subspace anomalies frequent to the Delphic expanse, a turbulent region coreward. The vessel's damaged computer core reveals nothing short of the name of the alien race, Xindi. Determined to prevent further incursions into United Earth space, the Admiralty have proposed a mission into the Delphic expanse to gain additional intelligence. So acknowledge.
Mission log updated.
Which means that now we need to choose someone to go in. And what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to choose the scientist actually that's right here. One, because they're right here. And two, it will also, I believe, give this this researcher a lot of experience points to do this. And as they're level 1, for example, so if something were to happen to them, they're at level 1, so not that bad if we lose them. And also leveling up would be very nice to start with the level 1. So I'm going to have them do this project to select the expedition leader.
Upgraded.
My fleet has been upgraded, so it's now at a more powerful
Research
stance.
project complete.
And the captain has been selected, and they've sent her along with a new Warp 5 engine, advanced defensive systems, and a contingent of soldiers from the Military Assault Command Operations, MACO. The Enterprise is the United Earth's best hope for survival. So flagships will be unavailable for construction while Ojukwu is exploring the Delphic expanse. So what that's done is it's removed our leader, and once the expanse finishes, we'll actually get our first flagship, which I'll talk about a bit at that point in time. So acknowledged, and let's continue on. Oh, so I need to hire a new leader because that leader is currently gone, and I'm going to hire Gertrude Erhardt because she's the youngest, so we'll have her for the longest amount of time. Also, because she is interested in, her expertise is in particle research, I will probably switch her over to research at some point. We have also finished the research streamlined planetary bureaucracy, meaning we now have the regional capitals. That's very nice. So let's do new research, and again, there's nothing for ships here, so what I'm going to do is unlock the Mars initiative, meaning that I can then start terraforming Mars, which I definitely am interested in. So we can actually make Mars go from a class K planet to, I believe, a class M planet, and increases the habitability substantially, and makes our population grow faster, makes them happier, so it will definitely be very interesting to see. Or to have a fully developed Mars. So this science vessel I'm then going to send out to do the exploring that I wanted it to do originally, down here. So the reason I'm doing that is because I also want to, oh, I just cancelled that survey and I didn't want to do that. So the reason I want to get this system within my empire as quickly as possible is because, as I mentioned in the last video, the United Federation of Planets has a mechanic that allows you to add other species and really empires and civilizations into the United Federation of Planets. However, that takes a lot of time and energy and minerals, usually, to get these civilizations to be part of your civilizations. Pause for a second. But if you can enlighten primitive species, once they reach the warp-capable age, you can add them directly to the Federation at a much lower cost. So that's what I'm going to try and do. So back to the Expanse chain. After weeks of fruitlessness searching in the Expanse, Captain Ojukwu has found his first clue. The owner of a Trellium mining station claims to employ a Xindi laborer and would be willing to arrange a meeting for a price. One of the Xindi workers' fingers is provided as evidence, an unfortunate mining accident apparently, which provokes more questions. The organic residue from the probe that attacked Earth shares a number of genetic markers in common with those from the finger. However, they appear to be from separate though related species. That all of the Xindi may not be a single species confuses the investigation. Captain Ojukwu convenes with the Enterprise's senior staff to decide on how to proceed. So we can either abduct the worker, we can meet the worker, or we can buy the contract. I think I'm going to buy the contract just because I have the minerals, I have the energy, and I have, like, this is kind of the most surefire way that we would then have the Xindi. So I'm going to purchase his contract. The mining facility administrator appears surprised that Captain Ojukwu would meet his price, but agrees to transfer the Xindi worker to the Enterprise after payment is made in full. After being brought to the Enterprise, the worker, a male named Keswick, expresses his gratitude at being freed from what he describes as slave labor in the mining facility. On questioning, Keswick appears to know nothing of the attack on Earth, but does confirm the location of the Xindi homeworld, and that 6 separate species of Xindi evolved there. Having provided this information, Captain Ojukwu prepares to transfer Keswick to a passing cargo vessel, which agrees to take him on as crew. So that's perfect. So we're going to set a course for the Xindi homeworld. And we have another building slot in Earth, and I'm actually going to upgrade the regional capital as well. So what do we need? I'm just looking at some of our resources up here. We seem to have enough supplies for now. Food, we're getting a little bit lower. I could build a farm, but actually I think I'm going to go for alloys, just because, again, that is the most critical resource that I need at the moment. The more alloys that I have, the faster that I can build ships and upgrade star bases and things like that. So I'm going to build another alloy foundry. And I see here that I still have a module slot on Starbase 1. So what can I build? Crew quarters, which I already have. Okay, then I'm not going to do anything. There's nothing to do here yet. So let's see what happens. Oh, so we've arrived at the coordinates of the Xindi home system. However, no habitable worlds can be detected. Instead, an enormous asteroid field fills the star's habitable zone. Using predictive modeling, the science officer is able to confirm that the asteroid field came from a single world between 150 and 200 years ago. Material analysis of the field indicates the presence of advanced compounds that indicate the presence of a warp-faring culture. If this is the Xindi homeworld, it has been broken for a long time. Captain Ojukwu orders a return to the original Expanse search pattern. So, acknowledged. Oh well, that's yeah, a bit sad. Destroyed homeworld, but it's the same as was in the show, so nothing really to worry about. I'm sure we'll find them at some point. So our construction ship is still going to the automated shipyard to do that. We've just met Iota aliens, so I'm going to get in contact with them, research contact, see what's there, see who they are, see if there's anyone interesting we can talk to. Ah, another Expanse event. So the Enterprise has detected a Vulcan distress signal being transmitted from a nearby asteroid field. On inspection, the vessel, the Seleia, is heavily damaged and not responding to hails. Boarding the vessel, Captain Ojukwu leads a team to make contact with the crew and attempt to effect repairs. Deep in the Vulcan ship, several Vulcan crew members in a frenzied state ambush Ojukwu's team, forcing them to take refuge in the Seleia's control room. Analyzing the bioreadings from a Vulcan officer stunned unconscious reveals the psychotic effect has been caused by exposure to Trellium-D, which pervades the asteroid field. So we can either rescue the away team or investigate a possible cure. So in the show, they tried to investigate a possible cure and it failed. In this event, you can either rescue them, try and investigate the possible cure, and it can either work or not work. So not work like in the show, or it can work and you then have the Seleia ship is then sent back to Vulcan, which can be great in the future. So let's investigate a possible cure. And unfortunately it didn't work. So Captain Ojukwu orders the Enterprise medical staff to exhaust all options to provide a cure to the psychotic Vulcans on the Seleia, while an away team reinforces their position in the control room. Nearly a day passes before a series of potential cures are provided, however all require testing. Selecting the most likely antidote, a medical team distributes a concoction of Trellium-D neutralizing agents through the life support umbilical connections on the Seleia's starboard docking port. Within minutes, the entire crew of the Seleia is unconscious, allowing the away team to exit the control room. Several hours pass and the crew fail to awaken again, all showing signs of permanent brain damage. Captain Ojukwu orders the crew to effect repairs to the Seleia before sending her back to Vulcan space on automatic control with a log of all the events leading up to the death of the crew. So that's unfortunate, but not altogether unexpected.
An alien empire has established communications.
We have met the Trill administration. That's great. So these are the conjoined species of host and symbiote that were both in The Next Generation in 1 or 2 episodes, and then especially in Deep Space Nine with the Trill major character. So why don't we say we could learn a lot from each other? So that's great. They're down here. And in this case, they seem to be a major empire because they're expanding. Usually I've encountered them as a minor empire. So that's interesting. And we have new research, automatic exploration. This is great. So once my science ships upgrade again, I will send them out to explore automatically. And so we can research again this command station. Why don't I go for the command station? Because this is with the, I've been kind of neglecting this one rather than the dedicated phasers, which should come up again relatively soon. And unpause. So what I would also like to do is build an outpost in there once this construction ship finishes this research project. And then what I'll also do is, thing is, I want a station there, and I want a station there. Again, for the same reasons as before, because I want to quickly incorporate these. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'll build it there, and then I'll build an outpost there, and then I will build another outpost there, or there, depending on which one finishes first, or we'll have to see. So, back to the Expanse. Months of investigation have led Captain Ojukwu to an Xindi mining colony where chemosite, a key element used in the Xindi probe attack on Earth, is being produced in huge quantities. The mines appear to be surrounded by a number of small settlements with layouts suggesting civilian use. With enough time and materials, we could fashion a series of explosive charges that would destroy the chemosite mines while avoiding damage to the civilian structures, but any delay could allow the Xindi to collect more chemosite for their next weapon. So we can lead an away team to the colony, which is what they did in the show, sabotage the chemosite storage only, or destroy the entire facility. I'm going to lead the away team. infiltrating the mining colony, Captain Ojukwo's team have identified the head of operations and captured him in his home. Questioning the Xindi Arboreal, a male named Greylick reveals how he has been assured the chemosite produced at the colony was for research purposes only. Horrified at the prospect of his work killing millions, Greylick agrees to help sabotage the next shipment of chemosite and provide a tracking device to enable the Enterprise to follow the shipment to wherever these weapons are being produced. So that's excellent. That's also what happened in the show. So we're following right on schedule. So, intermittent subspace readings have led Captain Ujukwo to a planet orbiting a small K-class star. Astonishingly, the planet is inhabited by what appears to be several thousand humans, and a smaller number of unknown aliens in 5 small towns. Architecture and farming methods are consistent with those used in the late 19th century North American West. So we can say the mission comes first, or send a landing party, and I'm going to send a landing party. Captain Ojukwo has spent several days infiltrating the primitive civilization, learning that humans in the colony were brought to the world centuries ago by a race called the Sagarans, who they subsequently overthrew. The captain is troubled to learn that the surviving Sagarans now live in a condition little better than slavery. Worse, the colony appears to be on the brink of a race war that, coupled with several years of poor harvest, could destroy the viability of both populations. So we can try to quietly intervene, we can reveal the United Earth to the population, or we must not intervene and back to the mission. Let's try to quietly intervene. I don't really like the thought of race wars and genocide. Oh, working with progressive elements in the largest settlement, North Star, Captain Ojukwo attempted to persuade local authority figures to improve the conditions of the Sagaran underclass. Despite his best efforts, the attempt has failed, provoking further conflict between both communities. As the violence spirals out of control, it appears that several Sagarans have discovered a cache of antimatter weapons from the starship that first colonized the world centuries ago. Accepting his intervention has failed, Captain Ojukwo orders the Enterprise to resume its mission in the Expanse, leaving the colony to its fate. Oh, that's very unfortunate. So, sometimes the outcome of that is that you can actually gain a vassal. So this colony of North Star actually becomes a vassal. And then, yeah, so you actually gain, they're also in the Delphic Expanse, you meet them, and then they become your vassal, which is pretty cool, and they can be integrated normally. So we've unlocked polarized hull plating, that's great. And, ooh, so we now have the NX project. We have inertia manipulation, which is this operation station's a low-profile signature stealth hull, and solid-state afterburner, or the city. So what I'm going to do is the inertia manipulation research, and the reason being is that at the end of the Xindi chain, you get the NX class automatically. So there's no point in me starting this research and then getting it within the next couple of months, because the chain is close to being over, I think. So I'm going to go for the inertia manipulation and see what happens, basically. So we can upgrade our ships again, so I'm going to do that. The Delphic Expanse. Having followed the chemosite shipments to a nearby system, the Enterprise has discovered an Andorian vessel, the Kumari, under Commander Shran of the Imperial Guard. Shran offers the Kumari's services to assist the Enterprise, insisting on sending an engineering team to upgrade and repair various systems. Deriding the Vulcan High Command for its lack of support for United Earth efforts against the Xindi, Captain Ojukwo can't help but feel there's more to the Andorian presence in the Expanse. While the two vessels sit at the edge of the system, their sensors detect a massive energy discharge in the inner asteroid belt as a dwarf planet is vaporized, further confirming the threat of another Xindi weapon. We can either reject the assistance or accept it, and I'm going to accept, like they did in the show. So accept. Accepting the Andorians help pleases Shran, whose crew spends the next few days upgrading various systems aboard the Enterprise. Ojukwo and Shran devise a plan to capture the prototype weapon by using the Enterprise's bait to lure the Xindi patrol vessels away, before allowing the Kumari to beam the weapon aboard and disarm it. The mission is successful, and the two vessels rendezvous in the system's Oort cloud to jointly investigate the workings of the weapon. Several undetected safety protocols are tripped, however, and both vessels narrowly avoid destruction as the weapon triggers an overload in its chemosite-laced energy emitters. The Kumari is heavily damaged, and Commander Tran is forced to accept the assignment of a small contingent of Enterprise engineers to help the vessel limp back to Andorian space. Initial scans of the weapon reveal a number of potential weaknesses, however no clues as to the location of any further prototypes. Understood. And we'll get a new election, which means we'll then start having things that we can work towards, so different goals and things that will help our empire. Or that will help, I don't like the term empire for...
Fleet upgraded.
Yeah, for this game, but for our faction, for our civilization. Also, at this point in time, I'm going to hire a leader, an admiral, for our fleet, because we will be fighting the Xindi weapon soon. And... yeah, we can get strike craft and speed, increase in their damage, or ship upkeep, minus 10%, or shield plus 10. I think I'm still going to go for the youngest admiral, so Gottfried Kreutz. And see what happens.
Research project complete.
The USS Saturn has successfully restored power to the automated shipyard over Core Corelli 4. The facility immediately resumed its interrupted construction order, using what materials it had on hand to build 3 advanced raiders of an unknown design. Unfortunately, the ancient facility broke down completely afterwards and has been deemed beyond repair. We have sent crews to the new ships and commissioned them into our fleet. Excellent.
Mission
So,
log updated.
although not necessarily
System
excellent,
survey complete.
I just realized, because we are now grossly over our naval capacity. So let's say, okay, and Rodney Reynolds has been elected the Prime Minister, so we'll take a look at him in a moment. And The Expanse has another event. So long weeks spent hunting the Expanse have paid off as the Enterprise has successfully captured a shuttle belonging to the Xindi primate scientists leading their weapons project against Earth, a male named Degra. Captain Ojukwu must now decide how to take advantage of his new captive. The tactical officer suggests an elaborate ruse using memory-inhibiting drugs and a mock shuttle pod to extract the location of the final Xindi weapon from Degra, but the resources required are substantial. An initial interrogation reveals little beyond the knowledge that the Xindi apparently believe that destroying Earth is their only hope of survival. So I'm going to prepare the deception. We could also abandon him on an uninhabited world, or free him as a sign of goodwill, but I'm going to prepare the deception. Captain Ojukwu orders the construction of a mock shuttle interior, as per the tactical officer's proposal. Using memory-inhibiting drugs, Captain Ojukwu is able to persuade Degra that the two of them have been prisoners of the Xindi reptilians for several years, following the destruction of Earth and the reptilians' subsequent betrayal of the other Xindi species. Degra reveals that Xindi were convinced to attack by the transdimensional beings who presented themselves as the Xindi saviors. After a series of faked attacks on the shuttles caused the simulation to overtax itself and the windows revealed to be displays, Degra reacts angrily to the deception. The simulation is terminated. Unable to waste more time, Captain Ojukwu orders Degra and the crew of his shuttle abandoned to the nearest uninhabited world capable of supporting life. A large supply of provisions are offered with the hope that Degra's absence will substantially slow progress on the weapon. The location of the weapon remains unknown, however, so understood. So, we finished research, so the Mars Initiative, that's great, so we can begin to terraform Mars. And we can build we can unlock colony ships, the military and division headquarters, or a planetary college and a research district. Let's do the colony ship. Yeah, let's do the colony ship for the moment, and we can see if we might want to start expanding. So we do have a little bit of a problem, and that's that our naval capacity is well over our limit. This is about to start affecting us in our energy credits and our minerals stored, and I think our alloys as well. It's currently still saying here that we only have 29. Sorry, we can have... Yes, so the maintenance cost of your military ships is increased by 48%. due to being over your naval capacity. So we're not that far over, fortunately, so building a starbase or two and building naval depots will correct this problem, but we do have to be careful that it doesn't spiral out of control. So these new ships, so if we take a look at them, they are a Miradorn Raider class vessel, which is some of the pirate ships that you'll see in the game. I'm going to send them to our base, basically. That way they can protect Earth. That's actually good, because then when the Xindi come, this should arrive within 280 days or so, and hopefully they will be able to help us with the Xindi crisis. So, while searching for the location of the Xindi weapon, the Enterprise has detected the wreckage of a Xindi vessel on the surface of a Class K world in the Urungai system. The vessel appears to be of Xindi insectoid design. There are no signs of active Xindi ships in the system. Captain Ujukwu debates with the crew on the best course of action. The first officer recommends continuing the search for the weapon, as initial scans suggest nothing of value survived, while the tactical officer suggests destroying the remains of the vessel prior to departure in order to deny the Xindi any potential salvage. In opposition to both, the ship's doctor urges an investigation to confirm whether or not any insectoids survived the disaster. I'm actually going to investigate it, just to see what happens. And I've just realized... so investigating the ruins of the insectoid ship confirmed that no technology of value survives whatever catastrophe occurred. As the away team prepares to return to the Enterprise, a Mako guard makes a grisly discovery. A chamber filled with broken egg cases and the remnants of dozens of Xindi insectoid infants. After confirming that none of the insectoids survived, Captain Ujukwu orders the Enterprise to continue the search for the Xindi weapon. So, if you remember the Enterprise episode in question, actually, the eggshells were not broken, and Captain Archer was actually coerced by these egg casings and some of the biological processes that were going on in order to protect them and to guard them. So this is different from how the show turned out. So, understood, thank you. And I've just realized that our Prime Minister was recruited from our scientist who was researching for physics. So I'm going to recruit another scientist. None of them are specifically physics related. So what I'm going to do is take the one that is physics related, which is this, the one with particle expertise, and use her. And then she came from, I believe, this science ship. Yes, so I'm going to recruit a different scientist for her, or for this science ship. So I can choose an expert in materials, an expert in new worlds, or a doctor who's an expert in biology and has a longer lifespan by 10 years. So I think I'm going to go for one of these two, and I don't think it really matters. I don't have any scientists specialized in either of these two, so I guess I'll just go for the material one. That was just kind of random on my side. So I'm a little bit worried that these ships won't make it back in time. The reason being is that the end of the Xindi event chain goes extremely quickly. So it's suddenly like, oh, you're at Azati Prime, you press enter, you press enter, the next one comes up, you press enter, and suddenly you're being attacked in the Sol system. Like the next day. So I hope that we have enough time for them to reach Starbase 1 and be fine, and then can defend Earth. So we have another anomaly. I'm going to research that.
To find yourself, think for yourself.
So we still can't offer them association status just yet. So months pass and the Enterprise crew begin to lose all hope of ever finding the Xindi weapons construction site. A chance encounter with the species with trade relations with the Xindi offer a new opportunity, however. The traders share rumors of heavy traffic coming and going from the Azati system. A lead captain, Ujukwu, cannot afford to pursue. So this is where it suddenly goes fast, as I was just saying. So understood. Then we are currently here. The Enterprise arrives in the Azati system, almost immediately being fired upon by many Xindi warships patrolling the area. The attack is soon halted, though, as a squadron of Xindi aquatic ships form a protective escort around the Enterprise. Intense bursts of communication are detected between the various Xindi vessels, until at last a shuttle docks with the Enterprise, and a Xindi aquatic reptilian security detachment demands Captain Ijuku come with them to the Xindi Council chambers to plead for his life in person. So, understood. Captain Ijuku presents his evidence to the Xindi Council, proving Earth's innocence. Xindi fears that Earth would seek to destroy their species are shown to be a fabrication of the transdimensional beings who themselves have created the subspace instabilities in the Delphic Expanse to allow the region to become habitable to their kind. The arboreal representatives are convinced, with the aquatics and primates demanding more time to consider their response. However, the reptilians and insectoids are enraged by this. Seizing control of the weapon, the reptilians and insectoids launch the device on a direct course for Earth, while the Enterprise comes racing to try and catch up. So this is where, yeah, we need to defend Earth. This is where suddenly, tomorrow meaning not physically tomorrow, but the next game day, suddenly, yeah, the weapon is there attacking. So the Xindi weapon has entered the Sol system with an escort of several ships. If the weapon reaches Earth, the loss to humanity will be catastrophic. We will not fail, and as I said earlier in the episode, we would gain this NX research. So we didn't need to research it. So we've gained that already. A new long-range exploration vessel is ready for construction, utilizing experimental technology and enhanced engineering. That's great. So these are flagships. I will talk about these a little bit later, maybe in the next episode, because we're just about to get one. So excellent. We still cannot invite them yet to our our coalition. We can't even give them association status, so I'm going to give up on the Tellarites for this moment. This is the research that we just gained. So we gained the NX class, and it's also given us the Starbase facility, the San Francisco shipyards, and the Federal shipyards. So the San Francisco shipyards are shipyards that allows us to build these flagship starships, which are new to Into the Mirror Darkly. So this version of Star Trek New Horizons. We'll be getting one in a second. The Enterprise should show up. Actually, yes, we see it's already here. The Enterprise has shown up, and this is a flagship, which we'll look at in a bit. So the San Francisco shipyards, the Federation shipyards, and the Imperial shipyards. So the Imperial shipyards is for the Terran Empire. The Federal shipyards, I'm not sure. Maybe when we become the Federation, we can then build the Federal shipyards as well. So that will be interesting. So new research, there's nothing, because actually we didn't finish here, it was given to us. And so now I'm going to look at this weapon. So as we can see, there are 3 patrol frigates. There are 3 destroyers, 3 patrol frigates, and the super weapon. So I'm going to take my fleet here, set it to an aggressive stance, and have them attack these ships which are warping and aren't due to arrive for another 166 days. I'm going to just set them directly to attack. And the Enterprise, which is a science vessel, technically, but also has a military power value and can actually attack and defend itself, is also going to attack the Xindi weapon, in the hopes that all of them together will then be able to destroy it. So we've also, because the Kumari survived the Expanse, they're coming to help us as well. This is excellent. And sometimes you'll also get some Xindi ships, which will help as well. It looks like currently we're not going to get them in this event chain. So we won't have any Xindi on our side.
Construction complete.
And we are losing quite badly. So unfortunately the Emmett class ship is not very good.
Complete.
I mean, it's the starting ship, it's not supposed to be very good. But I'm also hoping that, yeah, unfortunately I didn't really have enough time, or let's say I didn't strategize to build the light cruiser. So with any luck, I will still survive, and then I will try and add in as many light cruisers to that fleet as possible. So again, I'm going to focus on the ships, so I'm going to go for shields this time. See here. There's the Enterprise, looking very nice. Here's the Kumari, also looking very nice. And hopefully the two of them together, plus our fleet, which is disengaging, will be able to defeat the Xindi vessel and, well, one hopes, and the... nope. So you're at Pajem. If I were to say upgrade, where would you upgrade? So what they're currently doing, I've tried to upgrade the ships, because that will automatically instantly repair them. But since that's not really happening, what I'm going to have to do is wait until...
Spaceport under attack.
Ooh, crap. What I'm going to have to do is wait until they actually are fully repaired and see what happens. Once they're fully repaired, I'll send them back to Earth. So we have a lot of factions that we've just gained. That's great. I'll look at those in a minute, but I'm not stressed about losing Earth. So second fleet has been fully repaired, but nothing's been upgraded, so I'm going to have you go back. The Enterprise is also repairing, and I guess... let's see, are you going to... will you upgrade? No, just repairing. Okay, well once you're fully repaired... oh, you will upgrade, that's great. So once you're... ooh, I'm so worried because the probe is literally right there. So we will study this crash scout craft's design, meaning we'll get engineering points. And, okay, my fleet was upgraded, so why don't we go and attack...
Research complete.
Please attack the Xindi weapon. Hopefully we can do some kind of damage and really destroy stuff. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I'm also going to do some more research because it's finished. So let's do... I guess let's continue focus on the ships just for now. Let's do torpedo warhead damage and here. Fleet command. I'm not going to increase the fleet command limit just yet because we don't have increased naval command or naval capacity. So what I'm going to do is do the Cordrazine factory because that, as I said before, that's important for hospitals and for a growing population. So come on, let's. You can do this. You can destroy the probe. So the Kumari is repairing. Come on. Let's give you a new admiral, so that way you don't die, and plus shield points. Ooh, I hope. So I hope with the addition... oh! It destroyed the probe. The probe's been destroyed. It's literally just the escorts left. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I won't... I shouldn't theoretically lose the... I shouldn't lose Earth anymore. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Yay! Okay, so I successfully destroyed the Xindi weapon, meaning that I don't lose Earth, so I don't become something like the human remnants or whatever that's actually called. I'm so happy. Whew, I can now rest easily. Not just Earth, I can rest easily. So, the Xindi weapon has been destroyed. The efforts of Starfleet cannot be overstated. Devastated by the loss of the weapon and their fleet, the Xindi reptilians and insectoids have accepted the ultimatum provided to them by remaining Xindi species for defying the will of the Council. Accepting their manipulation into targeting Earth, the primates, arboreals, and aquatics have promised to uphold peace between the two powers. The relations will not be easy. That's great. And also, with the tremendous gratitude of the With tremendous gratitude, the United Earth thanks the IGS Kumare for its assistance. As they depart the soul for Earth, the people of Earth reflect upon what has transpired. The IGS Kumare and its crew risked death to help defend Earth, not because there was something for them to gain in doing so other than the expression of their friendship and mutual respect. In the aftermath of the attack, many are left wondering whether growing our alliance might be the key to securing our fortune. So, basically forming the Federation. So, that's great. I'm actually going to put a cut in here because this video is starting to get a little bit long. So I hope you enjoyed going through the Xindi expanse chain with me. I was not sure that it was happened, but I'm very, very happy to have done that right now. And yeah, so when we come back, what I'll be trying to do is expand our... Oh, okay, somebody else got control of that. Oh, the Trill administration got control of that. Okay, that's okay. Hopefully we can be friends. So as I was saying, I will try and expand the coalition to include the Tellarites, definitely. I'll try and include the Trill as well. That would be amazing if they accept. And I'll see you next time. So, ta-da!